Right, Rob, before we get started, I'm just going to touch on these rigs. It's about 8 foot deep, the peg here today. And as you know, our sort of general rule of thumb is 0.1 of a gram per foot of water. So these rigs are 0.75. That's the first float I've taken out today. I'll talk about the float while I've got it here. Basically, these have got a fibre tip on them, and I fished with hollow tip floats in the summer when the fish are more aggressive. As you start to get into winter, everything becomes a little bit more delicate, and I've definitely found a fibre tip is more important for me. So they've also got a nickel titanium stem, which is great because I love a wire stem for stability. This isn't quite as heavy as wire, but it is a lot heavier than carbon, but I can do all this with it and it doesn't bend out of shape.
Okay.
It's got a bad name, it's called the Kerry, but listen, you can't have it all on a float, can you?
I expected it to have a big bulbous head on it, you know, like a...
Did you?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, okay, gotcha. Maybe some lug holes off the side.
Yeah.
Right, perfect. So that's the float, it works brilliantly. The depth of all the lines today, you can see there's very little difference in the depth.
Okay.
So I've got 2 rigs that I can use on all my lines. I've marked both depths on each line. If the shorter line another day was say 6 foot deep, I'd be using a 0.6. You know, that's obviously the go-to. Now this rig is the general catching rig, if you like.
While we're at that end, just talk about the elastic.
Yeah, sorry, I've got a single 6 in there. I like a nice light elastic. Again, I need something heavy enough in the depth to set the hook.
Yeah.
If I was fishing a really shallow lake, I'd be single 5, even a single 3.
You want plenty out when you're shipping back.
I want loads out when I'm shipping back.
Skimmers, soft mouths and all that.
And I've got 0.14 main line because I want something durable on the rig. I've got a bulk. I'm
looking at that. It's quite high as a bulk for me, that would be, for pellets anyway.
Well, this is pellets and ground, everything. Because I've found when I go above 0.5 gram, I need to bring my bulk further away. It just seems to me that it gives me much better bites, more confidence.
Okay.
When less than 0.5 gram, Rob, I bring it down. I don't think it makes as big influence, but in order to register on the float, I'm going to be using the shop down here. Now I've put 3 number 10s below the float here, and I always start with 2 bulk together on top of the hook length. Right. So that's like a number 8 equivalent, nice and heavy.
Is that so you can see indications a lot faster and you can read your float a bit
I want to see the bites. Now, this is a rig that not a lot of people will fish with, but I've had great success with it. I've still got the other number 10 as the next dropper. Without a shadow of a doubt, whenever I start putting weight down towards almost like a double bulk, which you'll see on the other rig, this dropper stops me getting in a tangle.
Okay.
When I take that up towards the bulk and just have 2 here, I just get tangles. So I love having this
just straightens your line out.
Straightens my line out, right?
And that's why I can see you've got one that's like an inch below that ball. That's just kicking your line away.
That just kicks my line away, so it's dead easy to do. So effectively it's a bulk with 3 number 10s below. If I want to take that number 10 and group it here, I could. If I want to spread these number 10s out and have a slower fall, I can.
Yeah.
And to match that, I've got a 6-inch hook length. Interestingly, when I'm fishing for skimmers, I've got 0.12 as my hook length.
Right.
Now,
so you're not going mega light, are you?
No, and the reason is, one, it's quite deep, and when you're fishing in deep water, your bait spins up as it goes down. If I get a spin up on thin line, it's so much of a hindrance.
I was fishing yesterday somewhere and I was using 0.10 and ended up, initially I thought I'm just going to be using single baits.
Yeah.
I ended up using double maggot. As I'm shipping out, you can see your hook bait
spinning up, yeah.
And then you lift your rig out to let it in and it's almost like, there's a little bit of a tangle there before you've even put your rig in the water.
So anywhere over like 7 foot, something like that, I'm always looking slightly thicker lines. I'm with a big belief for skimmers. I'm laying line on the bottom, and the benefits of having it slightly thicker outweigh the thin line. Okay, so that's really important. Then I've got a 16 SFL, a really nice lightweight hook, perfect for this style of fishing. Now, that's my sort of like go-to catching rig. This is like, I'm not really getting many bites. I need perfect presentation. Everything's finely balanced.
This is the slaying rig next,
This is the rig that I'm going to start on because such is my confidence today, and it's the Slayer. It's the same style of float. It's a Kerry again in a gram.
Okay.
I've got a single black 8 elastic.
Right, so is everything just beefed up a bit with this
Everything's
float?
beefed up as we go down the rig. The bulk's in the same place. The dropper's there. But here I've got 3 number 10s together.
Okay.
And I've brought one of the number 8s down the rig to act as that kicker. You'll notice, Rob, this is a shorter hook length.
Yeah,
all
4
right?
inches that.
This is the 4-inch hook length. Now, whenever I'm fishing with a double bulk, and I'm going to try to sort of show this here now on my hand, I will be fishing with this bait laid on the surface with that bulk there.
Okay.
A lot of the bites today will be a lift. If it was 6 inches away, the bulk is higher, so therefore it takes more lifting. I don't want 6 inches of line on the bottom. If I want to move that further away, I can. There's nothing stopping me. But having 4 inches there gives me the option of making everything really tight and positive.
Right. And also, when you're fishing like that, you need the extra weight down. That's why you've brought an extra shot down there to get that positive lift, haven't you? Because if you had a single shot there, you might see a little bit of a lift, but it won't be as dramatic,
It won't be as dramatic. I want to see half the body come out of the water. So you'll see here I've plumbed up just underneath the body of the float. That's because on the long line, we should be starting on pellets. We're going to be starting literally an inch or so over depth. Right. Nice and sensitive. But this double bulk is like, remember what we talked about? If I was fishing with half a gram, I'd have all my shot here.
Yeah.
I've kind of done that. I've kept the bulk of the weight away from the rig.
Come on, put a pellet on. Let's see if there's any fish out there waiting for us.